Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, where so gallantly
freshman, and
and
Naomi.
Naomi,
Sorry,
Naomi,
Naomi finished.
finished.
What am
What am
I
I
doing
doing
here?
here?
Sorry,
Sorry.
got a little
Now,
feedback. Each of these three guys averaged 217 for their competition season. All right, two of them, Ryan and Jaden, finished first team All MAC, uh, and they only were ahead of Noah by 3 or 4 pins for the entire season. Noah finished second team All MAC, and again, just shy a little bit. They also all three finished second team All District in 2A for the eastern part of Iowa. So as a season, we ended up finishing third at our state qualifying meet. We actually bowled the third highest total of any team competing in 2A, but because of the way the districts work, they only take the top 2 teams, and so our team was left out in that way. But Jaden and Ryan both qualified, with Jaden shooting a 795 series. That's averaging 263 or 4. He just bowled outstanding, his highest series to date. And Ryan bowled really well for his first couple of games and kind of snuck himself in there and qualified for state as well. And then when we went to the state tournament, Jaden came up just shy of making the top 8 bracket. I believe he was about 15 pins from making that top 8 and being able to compete for the championship. Ryan finished in about 24th place, but both boys did a great job. They overcame some obstacles early on in the tournament and showed some really great scores and a lot of fortitude to bounce back from some tough breaks. So overall, as a season, I feel like as a bowling program, we are moving in the right direction. We've got a lot of great kids coming back, and I'm just looking forward to many years of success to come. So thanks again, appreciate it, and here's to our athletes. Yep.
Thank you very much, Coach, and thank you to our bowlers. You guys had a fantastic year. I'm going to keep Coach Price here, and I'm going to ask Coach Baker to come back up here because these two individuals were both recognized as Coaches of the Year this winter. Coach Baker was recognized as the Conference Coach of the Year, and Coach Price was the Iowa Bowling Coaches Association District Coach of the Year on the eastern side of the state. So congratulations to these guys. They do a fantastic job with our athletes. Talk about Clay Baker and wrestling. We're talking 35 to 40 guys in the room each year. We're having wrestling meets in the auditorium on the stage. That's crazy. Come see it sometime. We've got a spotlight in the gym. We've got all kinds of stuff. Our own dual tournament. He's doing some really great things with our wrestling program. And Coach Price, I coached some football with him a number of years ago, and I knew that he could coach the heck out of wide receivers. He did a fantastic job. What I've learned over the last couple of years is he's a pretty darn good bowling coach too. So we're thankful to have him at North. So congratulations to these guys. Thank you.
I would echo those comments from Mr. Mosier on the two coaches. It's a thankless job at times, so it's nice to have them come up here and be celebrated because there's a lot of times the little daughter has to stay at home and she's in bed when you get home. So I'm glad that she's here with Coach Baker today because those moments are important. Also, the other part of this is a lot of our coaches do a great job of making them or attempting to have them play other sports. And I think Coach Baker hit on that. It's essential to make that happen. And if you can't do that, then they're lacking something in the real end. They really are. That that needs to get to that next level, that next step up on the podium, whatever it takes, that extra little bit of competition helps you. And I believe that as a true competitor. So great job, guys. I do want to end on one more recognition. We did this the last 2 or 3 times, and I talked quite a bit up here about doing things that people don't notice. Mr. Mosier, Miss Lillis, Mr. Peterson, I've mentioned them several times. All our ADs at the middle school, they stand in the shadows. They do what they have to do. It's amazing what you can accomplish if you don't care who gets the credit. They live that motto, but they're not alone, and they understand that. So when we prepare these presentations, I ask them every year, what else can we do? Who else can we celebrate that doesn't want to be celebrated? You've had Miss Sheehy up here. Fantastic lady, fantastic example, makes the place special. Barb Riley from Central makes the place special. Doesn't want the credit, doesn't want to come. Sometimes you have to trick them in coming. So I'm going to ask Mr. Mosier to step back up here, and we have a special person from North High that we want to honor tonight, and I'll let him share some words on that.
Thank you, Mr. Shovlin. And you talk about these are the people who put in selfless hours and selfless time, and this is awesome. Because he thought he was here tonight to take pictures of our athletes, because he always does that. But Jeff Waller, if you could come up here, please. Stay here. If you've been to North High School, I know you've seen this guy in the last number of years on the sidelines with his camera, taking pictures. He's inside, he's outside, he's bundled up like a polar bear out in Pella for our playoff football game, and he takes all these pictures, and they're phenomenal. I'm going to show you some examples here in a second, but what he does with them is he puts them on Facebook, and they are free of charge for our athletes and our parents to download, to repost, to create awesome posters of their athletes, for me to steal and put them around the school. But he certainly captures the pageantry and excitement of high school athletics, especially in North High School. And one of my favorite parts is when he posts these on Facebook, a lot of times he'll provide a little bit of a recap of the game. And sometimes that's hard to do because some of these losses are tough and we want to say, hey, that referee or whatever, but he doesn't go there. Instead, he oftentimes reminds us that we have to have those officials, and he's really great at taking pictures of the officials group, and you'll see some of these as I go through. Here's some of the examples of great pictures, courtesy of Jeff Waller. And it's not just our athletes, it's our band, it's our cheerleaders, it's our dancers. He's at every senior night. He takes all these pictures. I think Coach Height's having an in-depth conversation about a call there in the top right, but he takes some fantastic pictures, and here's the example. I love it. This kid takes this shot, scores the goal, and then you get the picture reacting with his family at the fence. That's phenomenal. And this is straight off of Facebook, Jeff giving a little shout out to this officiating crew and all the officials. So Jeff, we want to say thank you tonight for all that you do and for your selfless time for North Wildcats. Thank you.
Pretty amazing that you can do all that, because if you ever go to events anymore, there's 65 people with cameras taking pictures on the sidelines, wanting different things, wanting sodas for free, wanting in for free. He asked for nothing at all. It's pretty common up in my office with Tara and myself to get a phone call and say, who is that photographer? We'd love to hire them. So you might get some references. So they cannot believe it that he shows up free of charge, and he's part of North High School. Very, very special. So without any more, end on a good note. I appreciate the time. I appreciate all the support from the school board. and TJ and John and all his staff, we couldn't make the changes and the improvements we're making without your support, because there are tough decisions to make, and they're not always popular, but we always have the kids in mind and the programs in mind, and we do appreciate all your support at all times. And I can't echo that enough from our coaches, our ADs, and our student body in general. So with that being said, any athletes, please come back up and let's get a picture. And coaches, yep.
Cool. Next up, we have board reports. Anybody? Any board report? No? No? Okay. Director Poston?
Since the last meeting, I was able to attend the West High musical, and again, it's just so fun to see these musicals and just see all the talent that we have in our schools. I also visited Wilson and Madison Elementary, and was in the piloted preschool class for a while, and then also in kindergarten, first grade, and second grade. It's probably the first time in a while where that I've had 6 or 7 4-year-olds trying to lift me off the floor. So. and with all the visits that I've made with to the various elementary schools, I just want to say that, you know, when we Amplify was doing the coaching visits and everything, I'm just so proud of how the teachers have taken a hold, and then also the support that the school district has done, and just the whole curriculum program in general. And I would put our teachers, our curriculum, our staff, administration, all the support services up against anyone. And I'll tell you right now, there's no charter school out there that's going to compete with what we've got right here in Davenport schools.
Is there a photo of those kids trying to lift you up? Did somebody take a picture? I hope so. Director Barnes?
President Klein Jerome and I participated in a panel discussion yesterday at our church, St. Paul Lutheran Church, along with the president of Pleasant Valley School Board, to talk about the state of those two districts and the state of education within our region. And I thought it was a very fruitful discussion, and was especially pleased by the number of teachers in our school district who were there asking great questions. And so I appreciated being able to partner with President Klein Jerome in that conversation.
Anybody else? Director Yonke?
Like so many others, I was able to see The Music Man at West last weekend. Amazing production. Had a fantastic time. Also, while it has not happened, I will be at the Bags or Cornhole Tournament tomorrow at West for Unified Sports. I invite all of you to come and attend. They talk about being heartfelt, but the athletes are very competitive. If you've never attended Special Olympics, especially on the state level, the competition is fierce, and we should be exceptionally proud of our athletes that we send. I've had the benefit, my daughter being on there. We go every fall for the bowling at the state level, and there should be a better Davenport representation. I mean, it's always a large group that goes, but we should really be behind these athletes, despite the fact that we are very focused on, and money only goes so far with the athletes that we have. But if you can, and I'm happy to tell you when these things happen, everyone should attend and witness this, and you'd be shocked. I mean, it's not just heartwarming, but you'd be shocked by the competition level. But thank you.
Cool. And anybody else? Well, I did finish out the trifecta. I have now gone to all 3 high school musicals. I went to Into the Woods at Central and The Music Man at West, and earlier I'd done the North High one. So I finished out in 1 week's time. So that was pretty good. They could spread them apart a little bit, it'd be okay, but anyway, anybody else? Nope. Okay. We have no open forum, so we'll move on. Consent agenda.
Madam President,
Director Hayes,
I move the board accept the consent agenda as written.
could I have a second? Second. Who was that? Director Beck? Okay, thank you. Any questions?
I have just one question. The audit contract, there's an increased fee in each of the subsequent years. Do we have a policy about the fee increase on a percentage basis? It's more a general question than anything else, or a clause that would allow us to terminate a contract given a fee escalation over the years. And maybe it's more a question for Kevin.
We do not have that policy. The way we operate is we look at inflation, we look at the pay raises, the general cost to do business with that contract, and we kind of take all those factors, put them in place, and see if that's reasonable. And then obviously it comes before the board to determine that as well. I do believe that in the majority of our contracts, to where there is a clause to where we can leave due to that. Is that accurate, Kevin?
That is accurate. We, especially the ones that may or may not renew, they often like to put 2 things in. It will auto renew. For the audit purposes, we're always going to have a fiscal audit 3 years ago when we had it, there were 0 bidders other than the current auditor. So it's not as important that we have an out clause for this contract, but we do for some of the curricular things. There's changes that can happen all the time. This is pretty mundane and consistent. The second thing, they always have terms and conditions that are a link to their website. It's not like this for this one, but those are 2 big ones that we watch.
Great, thank you. Again, the fee escalation is quite modest relative to the overall contract, but it was a curiosity question overall, given the fact that many service contracts today, the fee escalation is far in excess of any sort of inflationary standard. So it was just a general question, but thank you.
Anybody else? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Committee reports, breaking barriers. Director Hayes.
I have a report. And I do want to apologize, first of all, to the board. For some reason, Shaney's calendar wasn't syncing up with mine, and every meeting I got was canceled. But in speaking to her, there has been a few meetings. The last meeting was at United Way, and they discussed moving forward on the Medicaid Access Clinic in partnership with other local nonprofits. The city of Davenport started a transportation study. They presented and asked for information from the group, some feedback. DCSD will be holding a resource fair in partnership with many of the other partners on May 27th here at the JB from 4 to 6 p.m. And the focus will be on summer resources for ELL students. And the next meeting will be on May 8th at 10 a.m. here at the ASC.
Thank you. Legislative advocacy.
Well, right now, the legislature is concentrating on property taxes and what they're going to do with that. That's kind of up in the air. And then also working on the budget. So they are not receiving their per diem anymore. And so I'm sure that they'll be working hard to get through it quickly. There is one thing, Senate filed 2754 concerning charter schools. And the one concern there for us as a school district is the TSS funding, where if a student open enrolls out to like a charter school, that money goes with that child. But then if they drop out of that charter school or come back, the money stays with the charter school. So I know we've been in contact with legislators, and hopefully we can get that changed. And there are a number of other bills that are going to affect education.
Thank you. Local School Advisory Committee.
We have not met since the last time.
Okay. Long Range Facility.
We're meeting on May 8th.
Policy will be meeting in June again. Recognition at the end of the quarter so that we can recognize staff again. And Finance.
Kevin is going to be presenting our key measures and monthly report.
Next up, Kevin.
Okay. If we'll, on the monthly finance report, Stacy, if you'll open the monthly report first. I'll go quickly on this. This is March. This is kind of my measuring stick for predicting the last 3 months of the year to get a budget amendment if we need it. I do know as of today we're going to need to do a budget amendment, but I'm going to go through this relatively quickly. I didn't highlight anything on the revenues in the general fund, but they're fairly close to what they were the prior year, minus some federal funding, which was some ESSER funds that were run out in FY25. Otherwise, it's pretty stable. On our expenditure side, I did hire the salaries and purchase services. A couple things. On the salaries, we expected that to be a little bit higher than the current year with our pay raises for the year. And then I also looked at the purchase services. We received the safety grant And all of those expenditures, and I may have mentioned this last time, all of those expenditures are purchase services. They were the bollards, the windows, the fencing, the cameras, the security doors. All of those were in excess of $1 million for the current year. That's why that would be bumped up a little bit. It's a big percentages relatively to the total amount. So I wanted to highlight that. At the bottom of that, though, you'll see our surplus is negative 18 million. That's not concerning to me. We actually received $26 million in property taxes in the month of April. So you're going to see that number flip when we close this current month. We're still standing strong in our ending balance with that. On this page, also, you'll see our sales tax. There's an other objects of 11 million of expenditures, and that is the movement of the bond funds that we have to move over into debt service. So you're seeing that negative amount in that surplus deficit, which we would expect a little bit of a negative amount, but it's still over $43 million in that fund. So we're healthy there. On the bottom half of that page, you'll see, as promised, in the other funds, Fund 30, that $88 million receipt, that is the bond funds that we received, as I said last month was coming. Right next to that is that debt services, that $11 million. That's where it comes in as revenue in debt service, what was on the prior page that I mentioned. On the bottom half of this second page, you'll see that our PEPL fund has a small deficit from the current year collections. Again, we're going to receive some funds of property taxes. PEPL is property taxes. So that number is going to flip at the end of the year. And even still, without that additional amount, we're still over $17 million in that fund. So we're healthy to do the projects that a lot of what you're going to be talking about later impacts this number. And you'll see that in our other Fund 30, our capital projects funds, 101 million. That is going to be the highest mark we'll ever see. That number is going to start to dwindle down to zero, but with that 88 million coming in, you can see what's happening. And you can tell our first $80 million is pretty much gone. I think by the time I put the numbers in from this month, we'll have that first $80 million spent. So perfect timing for when we receive those. And in our debt service, you'll see we have a $16 million balance. Keep in mind, there's about $6 million is going to go out the door June 1st with our first bond payment. And we will still have the full year's worth of, it won't be $6 million, it'll be $4 million because we already paid some interest, but we'll still have about a $12 million balance when we end the year this year. So that's already in the debt service for next year's payments. And the final thing I want to mention is in our internal service fund, our self-insurance fund, you'll see that the deficit is $241,000 for the current year. Last month, it was right around $800,000, and the month before it was a negative $1 million. So this is trending in the right direction. So like I always say, we're going to keep an eye on this. You can tell we're still a little bit negative, but in the big scheme of things, it's actually in a really good spot for this year. We'll see where the next 3 months goes. Questions on the monthly report?
It looks like we have no questions.
If not, on the key measures report. I really like this one because there's a couple things I want to point out here. You'll see that our UAB is quite stable at just over 18%, 18.5%, and that our actual general fund spending is hitting almost that 100% mark, and that's really our target. But what I really want to emphasize is you'll see our solvency is under 20% now. We've talked about that quite a bit, 17.9%. Between the 17.9 solvency and the 18.5 UAB, we're really, really tight where everything is coming together. And that's the ideal that you would really want. You want to make sure you have enough cash to operate, but you want to make sure all of it is expendable. So the balance of what we're using for property tax and how we're spending is actually coming together quite nicely. That's a great goal. A lot of districts will have either a really high UAB or a really high solvency, but not both. So we're in a pretty good spot. I do want to mention something on page 2 that I did not highlight on this, is this is why we're going to have to do an amendment. You'll see that negative variance on the far right in our instruction. I'll be presenting in the next board meeting, and we'll act at the final board meeting what's going to happen with this amendment. Amendments don't change tax levies. It doesn't change anything. It just informs the public that our expenditures are going to be something else than what we predicted 18 months ago. So I'll be talking about that more on a Friday report, and so you'll see that coming. But when I see it in March having negative numbers, that's when I look at a lot harder at deciding if we need to amend. Questions on that?
Director Beck?
Sorry, one quick question. Is there a certain amount or percentage at which you have to do the amendment? Because nothing's ever perfectly
Right.
projected.
No, only when you know it's going to go negative. The other thing is they look at those 4 lines and they look at the total. So when the auditors look at it, they're going to look at these 4 categories. So what we're really trying to avoid is a note in our financial statements. In total, we're not going to be above what we certified, but in the first category, we will. So I'm going to adjust the instruction in the other going down and the instruction going up, and I'll explain that later. But no, it's just, do you anticipate it to be negative? Otherwise, you don't need to worry about it.
Anybody else? Good job, Kevin. Items requiring action. May I have a motion on naming of the West High Media Center for Patricia Sheehy?
Madam Chair,
Director Poston.
move that the board approve the naming of the media center at West High School be named the Patricia Sheehy Media Center.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, approval of Bray Architects for North High School additions and renovations Phase 2 project.
Madam President,
Director Potts.
I move the board approve Bray Architects contract for the North High School additions and renovations Phase 2 project for $155,000.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Director Poston.
TJ, do you know how they're going about this? Are they using a percentage of the total projected bid as far as what they come up with for their fee? Because it looks like to me that the percentage is going up as we go along.
I believe that is how they calculate it.
As the dollar amounts of the projects go down. So, for example, we had larger projects. I can't remember the dollar amounts where we were using them. They adjust the percentage based on that dollar amount range of estimates. So, again, if they come back and the bids come in and it comes in down, their fees will go down. If it would go up higher, they go up. So they kind of adjust along with whatever the project is.
So does a smaller project sometimes have a higher percentage
Yes.
than a larger project then? Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, North High School Career and Technical Education Project. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Potts.
I move the board award the North High School Career and Technical Education Project to Train USA, Inc. in the amount of $2,445,950.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Director Yonke.
Thank you. I guess my question is centered around, and mind you, I'm newer to the board, but when we've had presentations, we've talked about, District of Distinction, North's pathway being dual enrollment, West being career tech. I'm wondering why we're duplicating a process over at North when we have West. that we've invested so much in, who I believe has welding, et cetera. It's pretty extensive over there, being that that is that path, that career tech path. So I guess I'm just questioning the spending of the money.
No, that's a good question. And we have welding spots in all of our high schools. And so the capstone programs for our CTE programs sit at West. And so the opportunities to be involved in different programming at the freshman, sophomore, even the junior level exist at most of our buildings. But the capstone for those where you would go and earn a certificate, where you would go and take, then the big block classes, those sit at West. It'd be similar to a fine arts class. We offer marching bands at every single one of our high schools. We offer, so it's very similar that way. For example, it's confusing sometimes that at North is the associate's degree program, but you can get college credits at any one of our schools, almost to an associate's degree at each one of our schools. But if you want to get the full-blown associate's degree experience, you go there. So that's why the investment into this program is there. It's actually to build the capstone for our district. Our students in this space, we put a wall right down the middle of one of the shops, and wood's on one side and metals is on the other. And the air conditioning and ventilation there, it's not safe for our students. And so that's the big need for this, to create safety. The purchase or the bringing back of the Y facility allows us to utilize the weight room in a much safer capacity, the current weight room that's at North. And then in our auto shop space, when the teacher turns the heat on, you can't hear anything. And so it's really an update to that space that's been needed for a very long time. So hopefully that answers the question.
It does. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up is tuck pointing at Garfield Elementary. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Potts?
I move the board approve the quote from TNT Tuck Pointing in the amount of $63,110.
We have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, replacement of the West High School auditorium stage floor. May I
Madam
have a
President,
motion? Director Poston.
move the board approve the quote from Reed Construction in the amount of $155,150.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? This will be done this summer, is this correct? Okay. Director Beck?
It worries me that termites are a problem because they don't always go away.
Mhm.
What are we doing to make sure that that problem doesn't spread?
From what we could tell in investigating, it's not an active problem. It was a problem from the past. There's nothing really looking like going on right there. But once we get everything opened up, we'll have somebody come in and make sure we're verifying that. But we work with a company that does it to make sure we do it right.
Any other questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next up, food and nutrition services equipment purchase for new construction projects. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve Wilson Restaurant Supply, Inc. to supply equipment for all 3 new construction projects based on the RFP scoring rubric for a food and nutrition service. Grand total funding of $1,203,898.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Director Potts.
I'm just curious as to the price differential between Smart and Sudlow. Sudlow's a larger school, going to feed more kids. Are these satellite kitchens to feed elementaries, or what's the $120,000 diff?
A lot of it is just reusable equipment. So if there's stuff that's in good shape, we're moving it and reusing it, and in some places we're not. So we went through and evaluated all that stuff. Smart's servery area is split up differently. The way we designed that building was to kind of have 2 lunchrooms or 2 eating spaces. So that kind of added a little bit of cost the way we did it. So those are 2 reasons why the cost difference.
Are we going to have fryers?
I don't know that we usually use fryers at school, but
We used to.
yeah.
Cook it in lard now.
Had to kill your own meat too, Bruce.
Steak and shake.
Do they still have the fryers?
No, they don't. Well, like
Do they take
bake
them
them
out?
in the oven.
Oh, okay.
Or they're sweet potato fries. Kids love that.
Look at our student.
Oh, you're going to
board
be
members
great
laughing
on this
about
next
it.
one. Pizza.
Am I right?
Any other questions? I do. What fund pays for this?
This will be coming out of the bond fund because it's part of the project.
Why is the food service, food nutrition, why are they not paying for some of this?
Saying, you want
There are rules with food nutrition. This is the food nutrition expenditures. Things that are only used for food nutrition can be purchased by food nutrition. So, like, for example, the cafeteria tables, that can be used by anybody. We cannot use food nutrition funds. The wiring of, the installation of, cannot use food nutrition funds. But getting a convection oven in place of the air fryers that is only used by food nutrition, that would be a food nutrition expense.
So none of this is just used by food service, you're saying, if it's coming out of the bond?
No, I answered the correct. I wasn't correct in answering the way I did. A lot of this is paid for by the food nutrition funds.
Okay.
Anything that's specifically used for food services will be paid for their funds. If it's a mixed service item, it comes out of the bond.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, food and nutrition services, commercial pizza. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve the food and nutrition services commercial contract with Hut American Group doing business as Pizza Hut be awarded the primary contract for the 2026-27 school year for an estimated total of $141,669, and Papa John's Pizza as the secondary commercial pizza contract for the 26-27 school year for an estimated total of $45,594.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? I have a question for the student board. Like, okay, do you know which day it's like Papa John Day versus Pizza Hut Day? Do they tell you that? Or?
I actually don't know what. I don't really
I
eat
don't-
school lunch.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was like Papa John's was like Wednesdays,
Yeah.
I think, but I didn't even know we got Pizza Hut. I'm not gonna lie. I thought we only got Papa John's.
Gotcha.
It's all on bid.
Director Beck.
If I remember correctly, it hasn't been Pizza Hut. It's been Domino's and Papa John's in the past. So this is new. And I remember Connie coming before us and talking about the different pizza products. Was that a special year because they were like renewing a bunch of stuff, or was that just we got lucky and she came and explained stuff to us? Okay. I'm waiting to taste test it.
Okay. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, replacement rooftop unit for the Davenport Learning Center. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Beck.
I move the board award the rooftop unit replacement project for the Davenport Learning Center to Train Technologies in the amount of $148,308 using PEPAL funds.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next up, annual renewal of IJAG program. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Poston.
move the IJAG MOU in the total amount of $175,000 for the 2026-27 school year.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? I have a question. Why do we, I just read about IJAG again, you know, we've had presentations. Why aren't we pushing more kids into this? It seems like it's, you know, getting you ready to, I leave school, now what kind of thing.
No, that's an excellent question. I think it serves a very, I think it serves a population in our schools very well. And then I think different parts of our school serve our population very well. But if that's something the board is interested in, I can definitely get more information about the entrance and the entrance qualifications, the type of students that they're serving, to make sure that we're informed on that if you would like.
And do we have a set number that can go into a program?
They do.
Okay.
They do have a set number, and they're always wanting to expand. By the way, IJAG is a very aggressive organization. It is backed statewide, and it works. And so it is something that we could expand. It's at a cost. What they would like to do is move the continuum down and start earlier. I believe we have done that, but they would really like to start earlier. It's an excellent program. Our human beings that are our instructors do an outstanding job. But if the entrance and exit or the entrance is something the board would like more information, I can have a presentation if you like.
I'd like to see it. So, okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next, school-based restorative mediation services. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve a contract with Scott County Youth Justice and Rehabilitation Center in the amount of $50,000 for school-based restorative mediation services in effect from July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Director Barnes.
Do we have an estimated number of students who are served by this program?
Yes, we do. I can get some data on that, put it in the Friday report. This is an incredibly successful program. I can remember a time 2 years ago where we called these human beings, they come from the YJROC, which is the Youth Justice Rehabilitation Center. So they're used to working with the students at our age. It's a high level training, and it either is when something is about to occur between two human beings, or something has occurred between two human beings. For example, a fight or some type of community disruption. 2 years ago at North, there were 12 families in a row where nothing happened and it was resolved, or there was zero recidivism. And so this program, I can get you the numbers. Our staff members use this and highly recommend. It's mainly at our secondary programs, middle schools and high schools. Our counselors, social workers are very aware of this. It must be scheduled, I think, a day in advance because, like I said, they are employees of the YJROC. And this funding, just like everything in the state, in our nation right now, is being cut in half. And so this is half of what we normally get. We believe in this program. We're going to continue it. It does benefit when it's an outside person. So we looked at training our own human beings, but we believe an outside person coming in to do the mediations is very effective. But I can get the data for that.
I don't know if this requires a board request or not, but in looking at the data, it also would be interesting, or it would be of interest to me to translate this to a successful outcome for the school district. And I know that a successful outcome for the school district doesn't always mean graduation, but in most circumstances, we would hope that it would mean graduation with a high school diploma. So connecting those dots, I think, would be useful, at least for me.
Anybody else question? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, fiscal year 2027 budget adoption. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Poston.
Move the board adopt and certify the budget and the tax levy rate for the 2026-27 fiscal year as published and presented. The proposed property tax levy rate per 1,000 taxable valuation will be 12.97771, and resources and requirements are estimated at $504,909,130.
Could I have a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? This is a roll call vote. Director Barnes,
My vote is yes.
Director Potts,
Yes.
Director Poston,
Yes.
Director Hayes,
Yes.
Director Beck,
Yes.
Director Yankee,
Yes.
and my vote is yes. Motion carries. Next fiscal year 2027 budget guarantee resolution. May I have a motion?
President.
Director Poston,
Resolved that the Board of Directors of Davenport Community School District will levy property taxes for fiscal year 2026-27 for the regular program budget adjustment as allowed under Section 257.14 Code of Iowa.
could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions?
Kevin, did we have to read the other part of the resolution, the paragraph above that?
No, you don't.
Okay.
This again is a roll call vote. Director Barnes,
My vote is yes.
Director Potts,
Yes.
Director Poston,
Yes.
Director Hayes,
Yes.
Director Beck,
Yes.
Director Yankee,
Yes.
and my vote is yes. Motion carries. Next up is property purchase. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Potts,
I move the board approve the purchase of the property at 1618 North Main Street, Davenport, Iowa, for the amount of $300,000.
could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up is property purchase. May I have a motion? Director Poston,
Move the board approve the purchase of the property at 1324 Locust Street, Davenport, Iowa, for the amount of $225,000.
could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up is teacher termination. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Potts,
I move the board approve the superintendent's recommendation for the board to terminate the continuing employment contract of teacher Amy Moore, effective immediately.
could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? This requires a roll call vote. Director Barnes,
Yes.
Director Potts,
Yes.
Director Poston,
Yes.
Director Hayes,
Yes.
Director Beck,
Yes.
Director Yankee,
Yes.
and my vote is yes. Motion carries. And last but not least, policies for board approval.
Madam President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve the following policies: 102, 303.05, 306, 406.05, 406.06, and 407.05.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor.
Oop.
Sorry. Man, I'm on a roll here. Poston.
This
Train's leaving the station.
question on succession of authority to the superintendent. I just want some clarification.
In the administrative regs, there will be a list of people who would take over. So if something would happen to our superintendent, you'll be at the top of the list and we would know that because it would be in the administrative regs.
So it'll be
There
like,
will be names in the regs.
okay.
Yep.
But it's not going to be a group. It's going to be
No, it'll be like
One down.
this person will
Is
take
it going
it.
to be names of people or position?
Names of people.
Names of
If it's names of people, it'd have to change anytime there was a personnel change.
And that's why we would recommend putting in an administrative reg so it's fluid and not a policy, so it would have to change when that position moves.
Because it wouldn't have to come to us in a reg.
That was the thought process.
Yeah, we would see it, but it doesn't have to come for approval to us.
But in the past, it came to us for approval for an interim.
But we didn't actually have a name attached.
Somebody,
Or for the interim.
well, that's right. Somebody picked that for us that time, didn't they?
Yes, that is correct.
Let's not go there.
Okay, any other questions about that? Director Barnes?
No. Good. Good.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up is discussion items. I don't see any. Yay. Superintendent report,
None at this time.
administrative reports,
None at this time.
board requests. Thank you. Board reflections. Let's start with the student board members.
I would say it was really good to see all the athletes and coaches getting recognized. I know you sometimes when people make like second team or all academic state, it kind of gets brushed under the rug. But I think everybody deserves that recognition, as well as the coaches for getting the coach of the year. That's a really big award, so I think that's really cool.
Going off what Lucy said, I thought the athletic part was really fun. The Special Olympics, I did participate in that for 3 years. I could not this year. I had a lot on my plate, but I think that it is a very good thing to go and watch and to even participate. Like, you could go and hang out with the kids. Like, it's just such a fun thing to do. I recommend at least go once. It's so fun. But yeah, and I thought, just all the awards and stuff was really nice to see.
Great. Director Yonke.
Definitely the highlight for me was the sports recognition. It is always wonderful to see our students, our student athletes being recognized, and I think this is the 3rd year in a row that Unified Sports has been included, and I absolutely love that. And I've said it once tonight and will continue to say it. All of you need to attend. It would really change how you view it and hopefully change the board's support. Not saying that the board doesn't support, but maybe an increase of support if you saw the actual effect that it had on all the students that participated. So beyond that, I'm always thrilled to see the money side of things. That is wonderful, a wonderful addition, and it's good to see the property purchases that had been spoken of. So, thank you.
Director Beck.
Yeah, the winter athletes, it's always good to see our athletes. I learned something new tonight. I did not know we had unified PE classes, and I think those are fascinating and amazing. As someone who I'm unable to attend most of the things that happen during the day because of my job, but I know when I was in high school, I was super busy with all the things I was doing, and if I had had the opportunity to incorporate that type of service into my school day, it would have been an amazing educational experience. I would also like to make a note that one of our long-serving teachers has decided to retire. Heather Norberg has been teaching in the district for almost 31 years, and is retiring at the end of this year from McKinley. She's been at McKinley for a while. Just one of the nicest people, has done a wonderful job with the students there. So I just want to thank her for the time she spent at McKinley.
Director Hayes.
I can echo what's been said already with the athletics presentation, but I was also impressed with the North student that swam for West and the Assumption student that was at Central, just the total inclusion with all of the students, not necessarily the Special Olympics alone, but students from other schools that are switching over and participating in other teams.
Director Boston.
Well, just like everyone else, the recognition of our athletes and also the recognition of Patricia Shee, longstanding teacher at West High, and then the two purchases of properties are going to really enhance our projects that are currently going on.
Director Potts.
I think once again, the recognition of our athletes and Special Olympians. Also, the fact we had two coaches recognized as regional coaches of the year. Good coaches build good programs. And the key to any program, whether it's the band or choir or sports teams, is who is coaching them, who's teaching them. And that's the most fundamental investment we should be making. That and Friars.
Director Barnes.
I'm just glad we approved Pizza Hut as the pizza vendor if we're still talking about Friars. No, a highlight for me, and this was a great meeting, but a highlight for me was actually the recognition of the volunteer Jeff Waller. I've said this before, but I think we too often in this district make easy things hard when people come forward and say they want to help. And the recognition of somebody who gives of his time and talent for the service of the school district, we need to recognize those people. But more importantly, when people come to this school district and say, I want to help, we ought to do everything we can to find a way rather than put up barriers and obstacles and bureaucracy and paperwork. You could see from the folks at North today how delighted they are that this guy shows up for the benefit of our students and our families and our school district. And we just need to make sure that we're welcoming volunteers with open arms and making these easy things easy rather than hard.
Superintendent Schneckloff.
The athletic recognition is Coach Shovelin's definitely putting his spin on it, and I really like the direction it's going, showing the vertical alignment, recognizing a community member, the looks on our athletes' faces when you stand up and brag about them. That's amazing. And Kara Fa and Rachel Ivory that came today, and the other two people that were recognized, they're excellent leaders in their buildings, and they're beloved in their buildings. And it's really cool, that award. And if anybody ever wants to join us in surprising the people in the school, it is truly fun. It's a bucket filler.
I'm amazed how in just 3 years' time, our unified champion lists both the Special Olympic kids, the athletes, and the mentors, or I'm not sure what they call them, but anyway, that list really has grown in both schools, and that's cool to see. Also that we passed our budget adoption for 2027, yay, that's exciting, and our budget guarantee resolution. So that being said, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Could I have a second? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
We don't even have